Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Patrick Leahy.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Jim, being here with you, with Mrs. Billington, with your daughter, and with all the others. It's just, it's great. I get a thrill every time I walk into the Library of Congress. I remember as a young law student at Georgetown, back when it was just down the street, coming up here to study, to use the law library here, but taking time just to walk from the building where the law library was into this building, just to walk around and enjoy it. I must also say that I'm delighted that you are here because my office in the Capitol was once part of the Library of Congress. It has a great view down the mall, and while it was nice to have the library there, I enjoy using it now. But this is the 150th anniversary of the Morrill Act, and what a great way to start the week. Justin Morrill and his legacy are a great source of pride for all Vermonters. I feel privileged to hold the seat that he once held. I consider him one of the greatest, if not the greatest, of all Vermonters. And being here, Jim, it was great of you to invite me. I should mention that Dr. Billington and I have been friends for several decades, and we go way back to traveling in Russia, and fortunately he could speak Russian. And then when we got to Georgia, in the then Soviet Union, we found the Georgians didn't want to speak Russian to the Russians, but most of them spoke French, so I finally felt I had a language I could carry on conversations with. And we have members of the delegation from the University of Vermont's Proctor Maple Research Center, Tim Perkins and Tim Wilmot, Emily Drew, George Cook, Brian Stowe. They're going to host a display at the Smithsonian's Folklife Festival. So these are all, so much comes together here. And I encourage you all to take a look at the great research being done at the University of Vermont. Go to Morrill Hall, for example. And we thank the staff of the Library of Congress for letting us use this magnificent and historic venue that so aptly reflects the legacy of Justin Morrill and Abraham Lincoln and the signing of the Morrill Act 150 years ago. So I look forward to that. The Folklife Festival this week will showcase historic contributions to our nation's landscape. And I look forward to when Dr. Billington will join me in Vermont at the Morrill Homestead Symposium in August. I think you'll see a lot of what shaped this wonderful man when you see where he lived. He's a tried and true Vermonter. He was born in Stratford in 1810. He later started the procedure that only native-born Vermonters could be elected to the United States Senate, something that was not in our Constitution, but was in our practice from the mid-1800s up until just a few years ago. I am a native Vermonter, I hasten to add. That you'll find when you come to Vermont is sometimes a source of pride, but fortunately we have a lot of people who moved into our state and made it an even better state. But he grew up in a modest household, but he had aspirations. He knew he wanted to go to college, even though he was told time and time again it was not possible. And he had to leave school at the age of 15. But Justin Morrill, like Abraham Lincoln, became an emblem of the lifelong learner. He was self-educated in business and architecture, horticulture, and politics. He entered public service in 1854. He served in both the U.S. House and the Senate for almost 44 years, the third longest serving senator in Vermont's history. And Justin Morrill, as Dr. Billington indicated, as Congressman Morrill, introduced the Morrill Land Grant Act at a time of great divide in the country in 1862, a nation at war. But Senator Morrill saw past these deep and bloody divisions. He wanted to promote higher education through the use of government land grants. This was nation building on a grand and novel scale. When I look at the chart up there, you go from up in the far northeast corner of Maine down to the Marianas as a result of this. And as logical as the idea seems to us today, is just part of who we are as a nation, the idea was fresh, practical, American idea. It was considered radical at that fragile moment in our nation's young life when fathers were fighting sons and brothers were fighting brothers. Justin Morrill saw an opportunity to expand individual opportunity, to strengthen communities in the nation. He wanted ordinary Americans to have the chance for formal education that he never had. And it's difficult to overstate the profound ways the Morrill Act has improved the lives of countless Americans. It's enriched this nation. Land grant institutions have opened the doors of affordable and accessible higher education to millions of students. What would this country be without it? I mean, this was a major turning point in our nation. I've seen these successes firsthand at the University of Vermont, but whatever state you're from, you could say similar things. These institutions are the lifeblood of the community, hubs of research and innovation, drivers of economic growth, laboratories for critical thinking, and in many ways, most importantly, a place for public discourse. Innovative research done in these universities not only educates students, promotes the exchange of new ideas, it improves agriculture and industrial enhancements and our way of life. And think of how it's gone far from our shores. Land grant colleges have had an incalculable impact on food security around the globe. For decades, these universities have helped poor and underdeveloped countries gain stability by providing them with technical assistance and educational outreach, improved technology, agricultural practices, and most importantly, hands-on instruction. Now, the Leahys came to Vermont in the 1800s. I was the first Leahy to attend college and get a college degree. My sister, the second. I understand Senator Morrill's commitment to public education, and the stirrings he felt to give others a gift he never had. My father, at the similar age, had to leave school to support his family and became a self-taught historian and believed so strongly in education as Morrill did. And Jim, I should tell you, when my parents, when they were still with us, one of the greatest joys coming to Washington was come to the Library of Congress and talk about what you have here. But Senator Morrill's commitment to higher education, his passion for agriculture, a testament to his character. And we did pass that resolution celebrating the 150th anniversary of the signing of the first Morrill Act at a time when some would say in the Senate we probably couldn't pass a resolution saying the sun rises in the east. This was passed unanimously. So it's a great honor to be a link in the chain of appreciation for the legacy of this celebrated fellow Vermonter. But especially here at the Library of Congress, what better place, I was going to say in the country, what better place in the world to do that? So have a great conference today. I'm going down to fulfill my role as one of the regents of the Smithsonian, another great institution here in Washington, and but I'll have people from my office here, and we'll hear about this conference. Thank you for letting me be here. I appreciate it.